Could Ty Borden really walk back into the world of Heartland after all these years? The whispers are growing louder, the fan theories are spreading like wildfire, and the rumors of an emotional reunion in Season 19 are turning into one of the most talked about debates in the Heartland community. But is this dream even possible? Or is it just the kind of story fans hold on to when they miss a character too much to let go to understand why these rumors have captured so much attention? We need to go back to the very heart of Ty Borden's journey. Ty was not just another character in Heartland. He was the emotional anchor for Amy, and a symbol of growth, redemption, and love for the audience. He first appeared as a troubled teenager with a rough past, but over time viewers saw him transform into a man with a strong sense of responsibility and compassion. His relationship with Amy became the central love story of the series, showing fans what true partnership could look like on screen. They faced challenges together, they raised a family together, and they built dreams together, which made his sudden departure from the show in Season 14 feel like an emotional earthquake. When Ty's story ended, fans were left in shock. Many struggled to accept the reality that his journey had truly come to a close. His passing was written as a way to reflect real-life heartbreak and to show Amy's strength as she carried on alone. But the impact went far beyond the characters on screen. For longtime viewers who had followed the couple's journey for years, it felt like losing a member of their own family. That is why, even now, years later, whispers of a possible return can stir such strong emotions. For some, the wound still feels fresh, and the thought of seeing Ty again, even in a small way, feels like the closure they never got. The key to understanding this fascination is not just the loss of Ty, but the space he left behind. Amy has grown as a character since his departure, but the shadow of their bond is still present in every storyline. Whether it is her moments with Lindy, her struggles on the ranch, or the way she continues to remember him, Ty's influence never fully disappears. This is why fans believe that if the writers ever wanted to shock the audience and deliver a season filled with nostalgia and tears, the simplest way would be to bring Ty back in some form. Now, with Season 19 on the horizon, the question burns brighter than ever. Could the writers dare to revisit Ty Borden's story? Could Graham Wardle, the actor behind Ty, surprise everyone with a return? Or is this just another wave of hopeful rumors destined to fade away? The answers are complicated, but that has not stopped fans from debating and imagining every possible scenario. Rumors have a strange power in the world of television. One spark of speculation can turn into a wildfire, especially when the subject is a character as beloved as Ty Borden. The whispers about his return in Season 19 began not with official announcements, but with fragments of hope scattered across fan communities. Some claim that they spotted Graham Wardle near the Heartland filming location. Others point to cryptic comments made by cast members in interviews suggesting that the door is never truly closed. And then there are the endless theories born out of late-night discussions on fan forums, where every scene, every word, and every subtle hint is dissected, as if it holds a secret message. These rumors are fueled by more than just imagination. They are driven by the deep emotional investment that viewers have carried for nearly 2 decades. After all, Heartland is not just a show for many. It is a comfort, a family tradition, a place that feels safe and familiar. So when people begin to whisper about Ty's possible return, it is not just about a plot twist, it is about a collective dream. The dream that Amy might once again stand beside the man she loved. The dream that Lindy could grow up with her father present, even if only in a vision or a fleeting moment. Another reason the rumors refuse to die is the way television itself often works. We have all seen it before. Characters thought to be gone forever suddenly reappear, sometimes through flashbacks, sometimes through dream sequences, and sometimes through shocking reveals of faked deaths. Heartland has always prided itself on staying grounded in realism, but fans argue that there is still room for creative storytelling. What if Amy has a vision of Ty during a turning point? What if an old video of him surfaces in the storyline reminding the family of his words and wisdom? What if Season 19 includes an emotional tribute that brings Graham Wardle back, just for a brief but unforgettable scene? These ideas may sound far-fetched, but to loyal viewers they feel entirely possible. Of course, not all rumors carry equal weight. Some are born from misheard details or edited headlines. For example, when Graham Wardle mentioned in a podcast that he was open to new projects, some fans twisted the statement into a sign that he might reconsider returning to Heartland. Similarly, when Amber Marshall spoke about Ty's presence still being felt in Amy's life, certain media outlets spun it into hints of a reunion, even though she was speaking metaphorically. This blending of hope with half-truths is what keeps the speculation alive. Season after season, rumor after rumor, the cycle repeats itself. What makes these whispers powerful is that they are not just empty talk. They represent the ongoing conversation between the audience and the story. Fans keep Ty alive not only through their memories, but through their insistence that his story is not finished. They weave together clues both real and imagined, and in doing so they create a world where Ty Borden still rides across the ranch and still stands by Amy's side. And whether these rumors turn out to be false or not, they remind us of one undeniable truth. Ty Borden's place in Heartland will always be bigger than the screen. When fans argue that Ty Borden could return in Season 19, they rarely speak without passion or reasoning. Instead, they bring forward little fragments of evidence that feel like puzzle pieces waiting to be joined together. The first clue comes from the history of television itself. For decades, shows have brought back characters audiences thought were gone forever. Sometimes the return is permanent and shocking. Other times, it is temporary and emotional, created through flashbacks, dream sequences, or visions. Heartland has always been a series about family, about love, and about memory, and that alone keeps the door slightly open for Ty to appear again, even if just for one moment. One of the strongest arguments from fans lies in the unfinished emotional threads that still tie Amy to Ty. Their story was the heartbeat of the show for so many years, and while Amy has grown and adapted, her grief still lingers in subtle ways. Viewers often notice how small reminders of Ty show up in her journey, whether it is a word she says to Lindy or the way she pauses when something reminds her of him. Fans believe that writers could easily use these quiet connections as stepping stones toward a powerful moment of reunion. Perhaps Amy could experience a dream where Ty offers her guidance. Perhaps she might discover a letter or video message that Ty left behind long ago. These ideas may not bring Ty back in the flesh, but they could still deliver the kind of emotional reunion that feels both authentic and respectful. Then there is the real-world connection. Graham Wardle himself has kept a strong relationship with Heartland's fan base, even after leaving the show. Through podcasts, interviews, and social media, he has never fully closed the door on Heartland. Instead, he has spoken with gratitude about his time as Ty, and his respect for the story and its viewers. To fans, this feels like a crack of light in an otherwise closed chapter. They argue that if Graham truly wanted to distance himself, he would have done so completely. Instead, his careful words and his openness to creative opportunities leave room for speculation. Could Season 19 be the right time for a short guest appearance? Another piece of evidence often raised is the show's tradition of honoring the past. Heartland has never been about forgetting. Instead, it layers history into every season. The ranch itself carries memories of Jack's father, of Marion Fleming, and of countless moments that shaped the Bartlett Fleming family. If the show is willing to bring back old photographs, references, and memories, it would not be unusual for Ty to reappear in some form. His presence could come in a vision, a dream, or even an unspoken moment where Amy feels his guidance while making a life-changing decision. The writers have proven time and again that they know how to use the past as fuel for the present. Finally, there is the simplest but most powerful piece of evidence of all: the fans themselves. Their voices are loud, their hopes are unshaken, and their love for Ty has not faded after nearly 2 decades of Heartland. They create petitions, they flood social media with theories, and they never let the conversation rest. In a way, the very demand for Ty's return becomes evidence, because it shows producers that a single scene with him could capture global attention and deliver one of the most emotional moments in the history of the show. For a series that has always listened closely to its audience, this is not a small detail. It is a force that cannot be ignored. For every whisper of hope, there must also be a pause for honesty, and that honesty tells a harder story. The reality is that Ty Borden's chapter in Heartland closed in season 14, and it closed in a way that was written with intention. The showrunners made a creative choice to portray the sudden loss of a beloved character not as a stunt, but as a reflection of life itself. Heartland has always been rooted in realism. It has never been a fantasy drama where characters magically return. It is a series that honors the hardships of rural life, family struggles, and the unpredictable nature of fate. That is why the decision to end Ty's story was both painful and powerful. It showed that even in a world built on love and loyalty, loss is something that cannot be escaped. The truth becomes clearer when we look at the actor behind Ty, Graham Wardle himself. He has spoken openly about why he left the series, and his reasons were deeply personal. He explained that he felt it was time to move forward in his life, to explore new creative paths, and to grow outside of the character he had embodied for so many years. His words were not filled with bitterness, but with gratitude. He thanked the fans, he thanked his co-stars, and he thanked the show for shaping his career. What he did not do, however, was hint that he might someday step back into Ty's boots. Instead, he shared that his journey was leading him elsewhere, and that the story of Ty had reached its natural end. There is also the practical side of storytelling to consider. Bringing Ty back in any permanent form would undo years of character development, especially for Amy. Her growth since his passing has been one of the most moving arcs of the show. She has learned to carry grief. She has discovered strength she did not know she had, and she has become an even more independent mother and partner in the family legacy. If Ty were suddenly to return, all of that hard-earned progress might feel erased, and the grounded realism Heartland is known for would be shattered. The show would risk losing the emotional honesty that has made it beloved for nearly 2 decades. Another part of the reality check is the production side of Heartland television series are carefully crafted around budgets, schedules, and long-term storytelling arcs. Writers do not simply bring back characters on a whim. Every decision must serve the larger story arc and the future of the show. For Ty to return, it would not just require Graham Wardle's agreement, it would demand a complete restructuring of the narrative. And while the idea excites fans, the truth is that the show has found a steady rhythm without Ty, and has continued to thrive by focusing on Amy, Jack, Lou, Tim, and the younger generation of the Heartland family. This does not mean the door is slammed shut forever, but it does mean that a full-scale comeback is very unlikely. What fans need to understand is that sometimes honoring a character does not mean bringing them back. It means carrying their memory forward with authenticity. Heartland has already shown it is committed to that path. Ty's presence is felt in every mention, in every flash of memory, and in every quiet moment where Amy looks to the horizon, as if he is still there. The reality may not be the reunion fans long for, but it is a reminder that the most powerful legacies do not require a physical return to remain alive. If the reunion fans dream about is unlikely, then what else could the show do to keep Ty Borden's spirit alive? The truth is that storytelling offers many paths that do not require bringing a character back from the dead, yet still allow his presence to feel as strong as ever. One of the simplest but most powerful alternatives would be to weave more flashbacks into Amy's journey. These flashbacks could highlight forgotten moments of their life together, not as recycled clips, but as carefully chosen pieces of memory that shape Amy's decisions in the present. Imagine a scene where Amy faces a challenge with Lindy, and a memory of Ty teaching her something about patience suddenly comes flooding back. That kind of storytelling would not only remind viewers of Ty's influence, but also deepen Amy's connection to her. Past another possibility lies in letters, journals, or recordings that Ty might have left behind. Heartland has always been a series that values tradition and history. It would not feel out of place for Amy or Lindy to stumble across an old notebook filled with Ty's thoughts about the ranch or fatherhood. These discoveries could serve as powerful teaching moments for Lindy, while also giving Amy a renewed sense of strength. It would allow Ty's voice to echo through the story, even if he does not physically appear. This kind of alternative could bring fans the emotional reunion they crave without changing the reality of his death. Dream sequences could also be used sparingly but meaningfully. Dreams have always been a way for characters to connect with loved ones who are gone without breaking realism. For example, if Amy were struggling with a life-changing decision, she might dream of Ty giving her quiet reassurance. The dream would not mean he has returned, but it would give both Amy and the audience a sense of comfort. These kinds of moments often resonate deeply with viewers because they mirror the way grief and memory work in real life. The writers might also choose to focus on Ty's legacy through Lindy. His daughter is growing up, and with every new milestone, she becomes a living reflection of him. A storyline that centers on Lindy asking questions about her father or striving to be like him would give Ty a presence without ever putting him on screen. This approach would allow the show to honor him in a way that feels both authentic and heart-wrenching. It would show that Ty lives on, not just in memory, but in the next generation of the Heartland family. Finally, there is the idea of tributes. Heartland could dedicate episodes to Ty's memory by weaving his presence into the central theme of the season. Maybe a community event at the ranch could honor his contributions, or Amy could complete one of Ty's unfinished dreams. These gestures would not only give closure to characters but also to fans who have carried their grief alongside Amy. They would remind viewers that love never truly disappears. It simply transforms into something different, something lasting. These alternatives may not bring Ty riding back onto the ranch, but they do offer something almost as powerful. They offer a way to keep his story alive, to give fans the emotional depth they long for, and to let Amy and Lindy grow while still carrying him with them. Ty's physical return might be out of reach, but his presence can still shape every corner of Heartland in ways both subtle and unforgettable. The legacy of Ty Borden is not just written in the scripts or stored in the archives of Heartland. It is written in the hearts of millions of viewers who welcomed him into their lives for more than a decade. What makes his story so unique is the way fans hold on to it long after the credits rolled. They speak about him as if he were a real member of their family. They cry when they remember his final moments. They smile when they think of his happiest days with Amy. And they pass down the story of Heartland to their children, the same way one might pass down a family tradition. This deep, emotional attachment is the reason the conversation about Ty refuses to fade. His legacy has grown larger than the character himself. Fans do not simply watch Heartland, they live it. They gather online in forums, social media groups, and fan pages sharing memories, theories, and artwork dedicated to Ty. For many, his story mirrors something personal in their own lives. A father, they lost a partner. They miss a friend who is gone. Heartland gave them a way to grieve and to heal through Amy's journey. And Ty became a symbol of that healing. This is why every rumor of his return is met with both excitement and hesitation. The excitement comes from the hope of seeing him again. The hesitation comes from the fear that the memory of what he meant could somehow be diminished. It is rare for a television character to carry this kind of weight for so long, but Ty's bond with the audience is built on the foundation of time and trust. He grew up on screen, and fans grew up with him. Many who started watching as teenagers now watch as adults with families of their own. And in that time, Ty became a constant reminder of love, loyalty, and redemption. His story arc, from troubled youth to devoted husband and father, gave people hope that change is possible, and that love can transform even the darkest past. That is why his absence feels so personal. It is not just a storyline ending. It is a chapter in the viewer's life. Closing. The emotional bond fans share with Ty also shapes how they view Amy's journey. They want her to find happiness. They want her to move forward, but they also want her to hold on to the love she shared with Ty. This delicate balance reflects the complexity of real grief and love. Heartland's writers have respected that balance, but the fans themselves carry it even further. They honor Ty by keeping him alive in their conversations, their art, and their petitions. They ensure that no matter what direction the show takes, Ty remains a central figure. What is most powerful is that Ty's legacy proves something about storytelling itself. A character does not need to be physically present to live on. His influence echoes in every decision Amy makes, in every lesson Lindy learns, and in every tear shed by fans who still remember him. Ty Borden is no longer just a man on a ranch in Alberta. He has become a symbol of resilience for people around the world. His legacy belongs as much to the viewers as it does to the creators, and that legacy ensures that even if Ty never returns, his spirit will never leave. So where does that leave us with the question that started it all? Could Ty Borden make an emotional return in Heartland? Season 19. The rumors will always swirl. The theories will always multiply, and the fans will never stop hoping. But the truth is more complicated than a simple yes or no. Ty's story may never continue in the way some dream of, yet his presence has never left Heartland. His spirit lingers in Amy's resilience, in Lindy's smile, and in the love that continues to ripple through the family at the ranch. What makes this discussion so powerful is not the possibility of his return, but the way it proves how much one character can mean to so many people. Ty was not just a role. He was a journey that viewers shared for more than a decade. He taught us about growth, redemption, and the strength of love. He showed that even the most broken beginnings can lead to the most meaningful endings. And while his physical absence is final, his legacy is eternal, carried by both the story and the audience who refuse to let go. As Season 19 approaches, fans find themselves standing at a crossroads of hope and reality. Maybe Ty will appear again in a dream, a flashback, or a tribute. Or maybe he will remain just as he is, a memory that continues to shape every corner of Heartland. Either way, his influence is undeniable. His story has already left an imprint on the series that no future season can erase. The question now is not only about what the writers will choose, but about what the fans believe. Do you think Ty Borden deserves a reunion on screen? Or do you feel his legacy is best honored by leaving his story as it was? This is the conversation that keeps Heartland alive long after each episode ends. It is not just about what happens on screen, but about the connection between the story and the people who love it. So as we wait for Season 19, the challenge is left to you, the fans. Do you want to see Ty ride back into the ranch one last time? Or do you believe his greatest gift is the love he left behind? Share your thoughts, share your hopes, and join the conversation. Because in the end, Heartland has always been more than a show. It is a family built on stories, memories, and the unshakable belief that love endures even when loss feels permanent. And in that way, Ty Borden's reunion has already happened, because he lives on in every heart that refuses to forget him.